Welcome back, Wolfpack Velos here, and this is how to use Bastiodon. So Bastiodon's stats are stupidly tanky. That it lives up to its name. It's a bastion. It's an impenetrable fortress of tankiness. That 168 on defense means you're going to be able to tank up a hit super well. 138 on special defense, taking up a hit super well. 60 on the hit points. While not being incredible, we see tanky Pokemon like Rotom. Rotom only has base 50 hit points and like 107 on the defenses, so this is just tankier in every way. Now, a big problem about Bastiodon is that it has low speed, so you're almost always going to take a hit unless you're under Trick Room, and it also has really no offensive options, so it's just a pure tank. That this Pokemon is like one of those embodiment of tanking Pokemons, except for its typing. It's a Rock Steel typing, which means it has two 4x weaknesses, Fighting and Ground. So if you see Fighting and Ground, it doesn't matter how tanky you are, it's still going to give you a lot of problems, and even Water to a degree, that if you are lower in special defense, so a super powerful like Hydro Pump does have a chance of knocking you out, except you do have the Sturdy ability, so that does work, but sometimes, you know, if you have this many tank stats, what's the point of it if you're just trying to barely survive a one-shot? You do have a lot of resistances though, so you can switch in Bastiodon really reliably on a lot of things. Normal and flying, those are quarter resisted. Rock, Bug, Psychic, Ice, Dragon, Fairy, you get a lot of resistances overall and the immunity to poison, so at least you can't get Toxic stalled out either, which is very nice. Hopping into Pokemon Showdown, I'm leading with my best Bastiodon set, and that's going to be in doubles. That one of my favorite things to do in doubles is bring a Bastiodon with a Pokemon like Charizard Y. Charizard Y Bastiodon is a very powerful set because you have Wide Guard. Wide Guard keeps your Charizard safe from anything like a Rock Slide, and you're also getting a lot of outplay potential with it. Now, one thing I thought was really clever is that, you know, it can go Impish Nature to have a lot of defensive tankiness, or if you want to, you can even run a Calm Nature, depending on what you feel you're worse against. That, you know, this is going to round out your defenses much more, but defense is going to make it to where physical attacks, you're just going to shrug off really well. And then I wanted to put 252 investment into the attack. The reason why is because you get a huge amount of attack by just going full 252, but if you go Adamant, you're not really going to get too much out of it. So I'm just thinking, I want to get a little bit of attack, that way I have some really strong damage, and then the rest goes into hit points. So after that, I was looking into other options, like Metal Burst. So say you feel you're going to get focused, you might take a little bit of damage this turn. It's going to return 1.5 times the damage, so anything you're not hitting super effective with Iron Tail or Stone Edge, Metal Burst is a good option, and if you're not wide guarding, you might as well be going for the damage. Now you might have noticed Iron Tail and Stone Edge. Stone Edge, that's going to one-shot a Talonflame, that's going to one-shot a Charizard. Iron Tail, that's going to be doing super amounts of damage, and even two-shotting Pokemon like Sylveon. So what I was thinking is Bastiodon can be this very bulky and somewhat supportive Pokemon, that if you feel that your Charizard is in danger, then you throw out the Wide Guard. If you feel it isn't, you're going to tank up the hit, Charizard's throwing out a lot of damage, and then Iron Tail or Stone Edge is going to be enough damage to pick off one of the opponent's Pokemon that Charizard doesn't take out. Which is why I feel that this is actually a really good use of Zoom Lens. You're almost expecting to go last every time, so you might as well get that 20% boost to accuracy, which means Iron Tail going to have relatively good accuracy, and Stone Edge going to have really good accuracy, so you don't have to play these accuracy games, but you get to use the higher base power stab moves that you do have access to, and to a degree you can even use this in singles, that if you want to like go with Bastiodon and just say sit in Pokemon. It comes in, it wants to be a filthy tank, and then it wants to remove fairy types, or it wants to remove like flying types and Pokemon that are weak against Stone Edge. It can certainly do that. I would take out Wide Guard and I don't really know what else you could put here. Avalanche? Actually, Avalanche is going to be great in this situation, because now you're going to take that hit, and then you can just destroy any kind of Pokemon that are going to be 4 times weak to Ice. So really, this is a super effective, just stupid Pokemon, and it can be very tanky. Also, it's Sturdy. If you see a fighting type attack, if you see a ground type attack, that's when you use the Metal Burst. That Sturdy suddenly Metal Burst, and then you get to get a KO off of them because you're doing 1.5 times damage. So unless the Pokemon has almost 500 hit points and is still one-shotting you, you're going to be able to return something on that Metal Burst, or just have a lot of damage options overall. So that can be really solid. And then, you know, Charizard Y, you just have Drought into like Protect, and then you Heat Wave and get damage and stuff. Other than that, Bastiodon can be a good setup Pokemon that you just trade setups, you know, or you can use it as anti-setup. That a lot of Pokemon get access to Magic Coat. Bastiodon does get it as a move tutor move, so you can use it like, oh, they're going to Stealth Rock me, they're going to Sticky Web me, I'm just going to Magic Coat that. So at least you're getting like free anti-setup if you feel they might be trying to taunt you or something. You might be able to sneak out a Magic Coat and do some silly things to them. Also, Stealth Rock and Roar. You set up Stealth Rock, you just roar them out, and if they don't have a lot of options to you, you're going to be able to tank up a ton of hits with that leftovers. You're going to be getting a small amount of health back, and then you just kind of roar as many times as it takes until you go down, and now you've really softened up a lot of your opponent's team, and then you still have Metal Burst. Okay, they're going to use an Earthquake, I'm at full health, I'm just going to Metal Burst you down, and then you're at least getting the trades, while also potentially having like early Magic Coat, or something silly like that. With this, I'm thinking full tank investment, since we don't have any offensive moves. We just go 60 on the hit points, bold nature, that way we're getting defensive investment, the rest is special defense, and look at how dumb these stats are. 410 on that defense, 375 on the special defense, and then 324 on the hit points. This Pokemon is not going to go anywhere. And then this is just kind of a tweak on this kind of set, that if you don't want to really care about Zoomlins and stuff, you can just go Bastiodon with Chesto, Resto, and Curse. So Careful Nature maxes out your special defense. Using one Curse is going to make you very, very tough to take down physically. You can use Curse once or twice, go into Rest. Now you have that Sustain going, and Stone Edge and Iron Head still doing pretty silly amounts of damage because you use Curse once. Well, Curse once is going to put you to 210 attack, which is very similar to having this 203 attack with the natural investment. So one more turn of setup, and then you're doing slightly more damage. So Stone Edge is still finding 1-hit KOs, Iron Head still finding 2-hit KOs in this situation. Because since we don't have the Zoomlins, might as well go with Iron Head. Curse is giving us a slight damage edge, and if you use Curse twice, Iron Head going to be just one-shots on a lot of Fairy-type Pokemon, and Stone Edge is going to be a very powerful move to use as well. I don't think a lot of people give it enough credit, that this is pretty a secret OP set, well, the Wide Guard set, that I think a lot of people could probably pick up and master really well, and other than that, you can sit in, you know, Sturdy guarantees some kind of setup, Curse, and all that other tankiness, if you maybe even save Bastiodon for later in the game, that you've identified their fighting type Pokemon, you've identified their ground Pokemon, you remove the largest part of that threat, and then you just kind of play a setup game, that can work out pretty well too. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, so I use Bastiodon, and I hope you all have a nice day.